Hey you prodigies, you may remember that in Chapter 3 you were able to access a series of 3 minigames involving a whole bunch of enemies and one gigantic mini-boss. When the Chapter 4 update dropped, there was a little bit of confusion as to whether or not this was still in the game, but I have good news for you. You are still able to do it. And in this video, I'll share with you how. Let's get into it. Another Bendy and the Ink Machine secret? You betcha! To unlock the challenges involving the Searcher mob, the Butcher Gang mob, and the gigantic Searcher mini-boss, all you need to do is play Chapter 3 as usual and select the Angel path, making sure that you also change the magical ink blob by Sean Flynn's recording to the Boris shape. Then when you get access to the axe, make sure that you chop down the blocks of wood that block the door to the left of the elevator. This is Grant Cohen's office. When you've done Alice Angel's second last mission involving fighting the Butcher Gang members, instead of going straight to the projectionist to collect all of the inky hearts, go to Grant Cohen's office and check the boxes to the left of the desk. Between the boxes you'll find an axe which you're able to pick up. Take this axe up to level K, make your way to Heavenly Toys, and in that same area with Sean Flynn's audio recording, to the right of the lever that makes the shelves move, you'll see a series of wooden planks. Using your newly found axe, chop down these wooden planks and you'll see 3 levers in front of you. Each of these levers activates one of the challenges and you have to activate the levers one at a time. The first lever activates a Searcher mob challenge, which pits Henry against a horde of searchers. For this challenge, I recommend taking the left staircase and fighting the searchers up the staircase and around Heavenly Toys. You may have to jump over a couple of searchers to make it down the right staircase, but with a little caution and patience, you'll be able to jump across, taking minimal damage. After fighting these searchers, you'll be able to pull the second lever. The second lever activates the Butcher Gang challenge. In this one, you need to be careful because a ton of Butcher Gang members will spawn in Heavenly Toys and some will be right outside the entrance to Heavenly Toys. What I like to do is poke my body out a bit to draw aggro from some of them and then destroy them one by one. Then I take the right hand staircase and using the high ground, aggro them up the staircase and kill them fairly easily. Completing this challenge will leave one lever left to pull, and doing so will make a gigantic boss searcher spawn in Heavenly Toys. This searcher will follow you wherever you go and does a ton of damage. What I would recommend you do is to aggro it between the little gates that lead up to the fountain. In some cases, you might also have to take the staircase, but make sure you go around the upper area and down the opposite staircase so that you don't get trapped by the toy workshop. While I think that this is just a cool little challenge, some people have tried to connect this searcher to the lore of Bendy and the Ink Machine. This is because this searcher, much like the boss searcher that we find in Chapter 2, are both wearing hats. The boss searcher in Chapter 2 wears a hard hat, and the one that we find in Chapter 3 is wearing a fedora. Some say that because the swollen searcher that we find in Chapter 2 wears Jack Fane's hat, these other 2 major searchers were also workers at the studio. If this is the case, then my best bet would be the searcher in Chapter 3 that wears the fedora is Sean Flynn. This is mainly because Sean worked primarily in this area, and fedoras were in fashion in the 1930s, which is when Bendy and the Ink Machine is inspired from. Now, if you haven't heard of this minor searcher at all, he can do some pretty crazy things like glitch the entire game. I am not kidding. Tap this video to find out how, or check out these videos which were picked just for you. If you're new, remember to subscribe and tap that bell for more Bendy and horror game secrets. And prodigies, I hope these videos help to expand on how you think. See ya!